Hello everyone. In this session we will be doing a story named Forbidden Love by Themba. So in the summary, we can say the story is about two people who loved each other deeply and had to hide their feelings. Michael is black and Dora is colored. These two people are the ones in the relationship. So these two lovers are eventually exposed when Dora's little brother Bobby was told at his school that his sister is in a relationship with a native, right? So these two people were dating in secret because their relationship was somehow prohibited by the colored people. So after Bobby was told that his sister is in a relationship with a native, a fight followed, and Mr. Kells, who is a school teacher at Bobby's sister and also in love with Dora, found out. He tried to convince the school principal that Dora's family must be told, and much against the principal's wishes, Mr. Kells went on to tell the whole community about what they considered a scandal. This just shows us that mixed relationships were not really a thing. So there is an irony in the story, which lies in the fact that Davy, who was Dora's brother, has had a relationship with Salome, who was Mike's sister, and that relationship caused the conceiving of a child. So that was all about the summary. Let us move on to the suitability of the title. So we can say that the title is suitable. Why am I saying this? It is because forbidden love refers to a relationship that is not approved. Let me write it in this way. Forbidden love refers to a relationship between individuals that is unapproved. It can be unapproved due to religion, culture, or maybe political views. So in this story, the relationship of Mike and Dora was unaccepted. The relationship was highly discouraged by the colored people. Yes, the relationship between Mike and Dora was highly discouraged by the colored people of North Joseph because it was a mixed race relationship. Hence, I am saying the title is suitable. Okay. Secondly, we have the setting. So the setting of the story is, let me say, it is during the height of apartheid. In the Western townships of Johannesburg. It also takes place in Sophia Town and North Joseph. So the story is told from an omniscient narrator's point of view of his personal experience with apartheid laws. And keep this in mind, when we are talking about the setting, we are talking about the time and place during which the story takes place, right? So I hope you understand the part of the setting. You can be asked to describe the setting of the whole story or the setting of a certain extract. When you are asked to describe the setting, you must include the time and the place when the story takes place. So let's now look at themes that are portrayed in the story of Forbidden Love. The first theme is hypocrisy. So hypocrisy is just a term used to describe the contradiction of one's words and actions, right? So the theme of hypocrisy is brought by Davy, who is Dora's brother, finding it suitable to assault Mike, whereas he also was involved in a relationship with Salome, Mike's sister, in which a child was conceived. Mind that Davy beat up Mike because he was in a relationship with his sister. So another point is that Mr. Kells went against the principal's wishes of not telling Dora's family about her affair. Yes, so that is all about the theme of hypocrisy. Let us move on to another theme. Let me quickly erase this so we have enough space. Excuse me. Yes. The next theme is apartheid. Now, the theme of apartheid is explained to us in the story when we hear that black people were not allowed in cinemas. Oh, guys, and please, when you are asked to describe a theme in the story, please do not write it in point form. Instead, write it in paragraph form so you are not considered as a cheater. If you are given a question to describe a theme and you write it in point form, the people who will be marking your paper might consider that you were cheating, whereas you were not. So please, just to be on the safe side, write your themes in paragraph form. Okay, so the theme of apartheid is brought to us when we are told that black South Africans, let me just write it like, yeah, Africans were not allowed in cinemas. We heard that Mike was not allowed into a cinema. So secondly, mixed relationships were prohibited. That is why colored people did not like relationships between them and black people. So they were prohibited. Yes. Thirdly, colored people, such as Dora's brother, they referred to black people as natives. We heard Bobby calling Mike a native. Yes, a native. That is why I'm saying colored people were a bit discriminative and they called black people natives. So that would be all about the theme of apartheid. So another theme that is displayed in the story would be fear. So the theme of fear is brought about the relationship between Davy and Salome. So Davy lived in fear of his family finding out about his affair and child with Salome. So of his family finding out about his affair and child with, let me say, a black Salome. If you remember correctly, Davy and Salome were in a relationship. So that is why Davy was fearful of people finding out about his affair and also his child with her. So another point would be that Dora's family lived in fear of interacting with black people. This is a very invalid, I don't know, it might be a very invalid mindset, because why would you? So Dora's family lived in fear of interacting with black people. So these colored people referred to black people as, I don't know, being less human than they were. They also referred to them as natives, which just shows us that discrimination was at its peak. So thirdly, we can say that Louisa lived in fear of losing or being separated from her family. This is because in Dora's family, Louisa was the darkest, hence she was fearful of being separated from them. This is just depicted by that in Dora's family, she was the one treated with less care, because of her darker skin color. That is why she was fearful of being separated from her family. And lastly, we can say that Dora and Michael feared, you'll excuse my handwriting, feared for their relationship being exposed, which eventually happened. The relationship was exposed. So this would be a few of the points I have gathered on the theme of fear. I hope you guys understand these themes and would be able to state them whenever given a question that is requesting an explanation of a theme in an examination. The theme of fear is portrayed evenly and clearly throughout the story. Even yourself can be able to identify a few pointers. So let's now focus on characterization. So if we were to characterize the people who take part in the story, let us look at Dora. So Dora is loving and caring because she able to care for Mike after her brother had beat him up, and she also loves him to a point whereby she is she can like risk it, she risked the respect she would get from her side of the society, which are colored people. She risked the respect in order to be able to be in a relationship with Mike. She is also overprotective of Louisa. Right? She found it very unfair that her family treated Louisa different because of her darker skin color. So, yes, she is also ashamed. She is also ashamed of the way her family treated black people. Yes, Dora was very ashamed of how her family treated black people, and those are few of the points that we can gather on Dora. So we can now look at Mike. We can say Mike is considerate. He chose his words carefully when he was speaking about Dora's family. I remember in the first entrance of the story, he wanted to say something hurtful to Dora, but he instead omitted it such that it would not hurt her. Secondly, he is concerned about the identity of Salome's child. So he is, let me cancel this and write it correctly. He is concerned about the identity of Salome's child. In right, kid. Because Salome had kept it a secret. And thirdly, Michael is very humble and has a lot of love. He is humble. Yes, he is humble. He is humble, and he is also like able to showcase his love for Dora. This is evident in how he was able to be considerate of her feelings and just cared for her even though they were different in terms of race. Now let's look at Davy. So Davy is a hypocrite. Yes, Davy is a hypocrite because he treated Mike differently, whereas he also had a child with a black woman. Secondly, we have he is fearful. He is fearful. Why are we saying this? We are saying this because he was fearful of the fact that his relationship would be exposed, and the fact that he had a child with a black woman would be exposed. Hence, he lived in fear. We described this term of fearfulness in one of the themes we discussed before. So let me quickly cancel these so we can look at other characters. Yes, so let's now look at Mr. Van Vuuren. What's that king?